Thanks for downloading a 3CR podcast. 3CR is an independent community radio station based in Melbourne, Australia. We need your financial support to keep going. Go to www.3cr.org.au for more information and to donate online. Now stay tuned for your 3CR podcast.
We're putting up new buildings, we're knocking down the old. We're working in the summer heat and in the winter cold. And the labour power we sell, me boys, for a hard-earned weekly pay produces mighty profits for the greedy MBA. And whether we were born here or born in Italy, in Greece, in Spain or Ireland, in England or Fiji, we all of us are workers, united we must stand, until the wealthy bludgers have been driven from our land. We faced deregistration, it backfired in the face. We're not fooled by arbitration, we won't stay in our place. We hit the bosses hard and fast to win and keep our gains, and break a couple of concrete pours to back our log of claims. So keep your powder dry and hold your head up high. It's class to class and face to face, our limit is the sky. We've got a fighting history and we never will be cowed. Our builders' labour is a name to make a man feel proud.
And it's good morning from the Concrete Gang, a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Good morning, String Bean. Good morning, Annie. And welcome, Cornetto.
Good morning, Cornetto. Good morning, listeners.
Our new contributor. He was going to be called Gay Time, but he decided to be called Cornetto. Yeah, righto. How are you, brother?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Fantastic to be here in this beautiful morning. It's going to be 26 today. With the RDO tomorrow getting up to 29, I'm going to be bringing the kids to the beach, so it's great to be here, String Bean and morning.
It's a big call relying on the weather predictions 2 days early, but anyway.
This is, I tell you what, this is the biggest effort anyone has ever made to disguise their identity on this show. He's actually talking with an Irish accent to disguise who he really is.
That's right.
We've got a few that we can't understand. He's not the only one.
Righto, so here we are in the Concrete Gang. We are now post-Cup weekend, heading for, as we are going to very rapidly do, heading for Christmas. But before Christmas, there is the picnic, and that is on Monday, the 3rd of December. The tickets were distributed this week to all delegates, so there's no excuses. There are tickets on site now, $50. Gets you, your beloved, and 3 kids into the showgrounds on Monday the 3rd, and it's going to be a huge, huge event. And for those who perhaps have not got family to take along, no grandkids, no kids, but just want to go along, have a bit of a catch-up with their mates and all the rest of it, it is a wet function. Righto.
Well, that's the 3rd, not the 4th.
They got the date right on the tickets, did they? They didn't stuff the ticket printing up.
Righto.
Whoever did that shoppies flyer should be shot.
Moving right along, let's talk about a serious incident during the week.
You don't want to talk about the lockdown weekends too?
They're fixed.
Lots of things have been fixed. Unfortunately and seriously, we can't fix the consequence of the explosion down at the Yallourn Power Station, where a member of the CFMEU Mining and Energy Division, Graham Edwards, was very badly burnt. Something like 85% of his body as a consequence of this explosion. And Graham was an operator operating the power station on shift, as happens around the clock down there, and Graham has subsequently passed away from those burns. Now, the issue, as we understand it at this point, is not only was Graham the victim of this particular incident, but this is the third incident in a row at Yallourn Power Station. So Energy Australia, who are the owners and operators of this particular power station, are trying to talk themselves out of what I would have thought was a very serious allegation, and that is that power station is not a place where you can work safely, even as an operator. And to have 3 explosions in the control sections of that particular power station is an absolute disgrace. So our condolences and sympathies go out to all of Graham's family, friends and workmates, and let's just hope that something can be done to identify the cause of these issues and prevent any further deaths or injuries. And as I say, before Graham passed away, it was 85% burns. Now that is horrific. That is like being in the middle of a bushfire. So that is an issue that's going to have to be addressed by Energy Australia, not one of Australia's great employers. Moving right along, Cornetto is here, not to talk about ice creams, certainly not to talk about streets, but to talk about some other people who have not exactly covered themselves in glory, and that includes our good friends CPB and John Hollands.
Yeah, so I've heard out there on all the civil jobs, biggest real jobs in the country, you have all these alliances like NEPA, CTD, SPA, CYP, and now we've got a new one just started called RIA. Imagine me calling home and telling my mother I'm working with the RIA. She would freak out and thinking, what the hell is going on out there?
It's the IRA versus the RIA out there now.
Anyway, there's one of these alliances in particular, CYP. Don't ask me what it stands for because I've lost track. Excuse the pun.
Cross Yarra Project, yes.
Yeah. CYP are excavating a shaft starting from 18 metres and downwards. When the union arrived on site after a few phone calls, concerns about first aid procedures and rescue plans, they had nothing in place at all for a rescue plan. It took them 2 days to put it in black and white. First aid procedures, no communication at all. Which, in saying that there, 5-10 minutes is the difference between life and death, which it would have taken them to get to one of these protocols where you just push a button. Disgraceful.
Unbelievable. How are they still operating?
Well,
they're doing well, aren't they?
Obviously, WorkSafe have been down there and dealt with all the issues.
Yeah, I think WorkSafe just don't go there anymore. They're over
right.
it. There's another mob there as well, like the RAI job or IRA job, whatever you want to call it. Going in there, the unions went in, and the site manager said that the joint is riddled with asbestos. They've got the asbestos crew in there. They're putting it into the trucks, but unfortunately for all the workers down there, not just the removalists, no one's wearing the suits, PPE, no nothing. They're loading the trucks. The dust is going everywhere. The site manager also turned around and told us that the WorkSafe were in there the day before and passed it all.
Yeah, they probably did.
Yeah, well,
it's useless.
Going on their track record, wouldn't put it past them. But they ended up fixing it up after the union obviously recommended a few things to them. Obviously took the boys out of the contaminated area, not exposing them anymore, but ongoing issues.
So who's removing the asbestos down there?
A company called SLH.
SLH, right. We'll come to SLH a little bit later in the show, but let's just say they are doing some big jobs around town. Some high-rise commercial work, doing some major removal prior to demo of a building right in the middle of the city. They're doing a number of other jobs around the place, and they're doing jobs interstate as well, and we'll come back to SLA.
So RIA, they're a new alliance of some a joint venture thing, is it?
Yeah, so they're running parallel with CYP. I think it's Real Industry Alliance or something like that.
Are we talking people
Rail
we know?
Infrastructure Alliance.
Is this more John Holland?
This is CPB and John Hollands.
Right,
and
there's a bloke in there who's the site manager. He's well renowned for stuff ups in the past. His name is, what's his name again, Warren?
Stevie.
Yeah, Stevie Testerland. Oh,
cheerio to
nightmare.
Steve Testerland.
Yeah.
Jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire, brother.
Definitely. Like the second day getting in there, mate, they had massive... After they fixed the asbestos and got all the people out of there and people were suited up in their PPE, they had a fleet of trucks going in there that had no delineation, no protection for the workers at all. And he was telling the union that he's going to put a bit of flagging up. You know what I mean? Even in their GMRs, it actually says they need to have physical protection. They had nothing in there at all.
Hopeless. Where did they get him from?
Yeah, well, I think
The wonderful world of CPB and John Hollands, and we'll come to them again in a minute.
Do they all go through the MBA school? Is this what happens? They get taught how to fuck up jobs?
It might be their $120 induction or something they get.
Yeah, that's it.
Righto, we're talking about rail projects around Victoria and particularly around Melbourne Metro, and quite clearly there's a few issues yet to come. And we might cut to a little track, and we're going to go with Prophets of Rage.
This studio's got gremlins.
That's right, the studio's got gremlins. Indeed, we're putting our hands up to continue the fight because, as Cornetto has quite correctly pointed out, we have a few problems with rail jobs around this town, and while there has been an agreement done between all unions and CYP, Crossing Yarra project, for the Metro Tunnel stations and tunnelling. Unfortunately, the RIA and the Westgate Tunnel are both jobs being done by a joint venture of John Hollands and CPB, and they are in the process now, literally on Friday, putting an application to the Fair Work, or if you prefer the Unfair Work Commission, asking for a non-union agreement to cover that work. And let's be clear, the agreement that they are putting up to the Commission is way below the standards that we have in this city, in this state, for construction workers. So all unions, including our mates from Spencer Street, the AWU, all unions will be opposing the application by the joint venture, and that's what happened on Friday, and this is not going to be a quick fix. There's going to be a lot of argument, legal argument, because our good friends, who were the Abbott government, changed the Fair Work Act, the Unfair Work Act, to allow for employers after 6 months, when they refuse to negotiate an agreement on a greenfields, are then allowed to go to the Commission and seek an arbitrated outcome. So it's all going to go on and on and on and on, but folks, our hands are up to continue the fight. And I do remember that ScoMo, Go Slow, he was going hands up, hands up. I don't think he was talking about the Prophets of Rage. Never mind.
Pardon the language, but I think that was a who's fucking tonight. Didn't go down too well in the end.
He just keeps talking, doesn't he? He's a bit like yours truly. Just keeps talking. He's in trouble. He just keeps talking. Righto.
Who's got $100 bill and they all put their hands up? Of course they do. The question is where it come from. And the IRA or the RIA, who's going to put their hands up first? That's the question. I'm backing our Cornetto from the IRA.
Righto, folks.
You can't say that.
All right.
Righto, so we've got a lot of projects taking place, and as Cornetto said, we have got jobs happening all around the place. We've got people operating a precast yard out at Deer Park for CYP, and we've also got John Hollands trying to set up a precast yard with absolutely shit rates of pay and conditions up at Benalla. Not trying to do the people of Benalla any favours, just get a cheap product and get it shipped down to Melbourne on the trains and basically avoid unions. So there's a lot of things happening, and we will be continuing to report on this for quite some time.
You want to go tell the people of Benalla what happened in Shepparton when a low-grade a precast yard went under and how all they went with the workforce and the suppliers and everyone that got ripped off by Roquez.
Yep.
It's been done before.
And now Roquez are trying to come to Melbourne under another name and start the process all over again.
Yes.
We'll keep you informed.
Is it a phoenix rising from the ashes, or is it just phoenixing?
Just phoenixing.
I thought that Daniel Andrews came out there lately, and I know that both sides are sort of saying they're giving everything away, but he said if he gets elected that they're going to put a stop to the phoenixing.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. They've got no industrial relations powers anymore. They gave them all to the federal government.
They'll fix WorkSafe too, and they'll, a whole bunch of promises. We'll see.
Better getting TVs off the Liberals in it and free radio if you're a P plater.
Tampons or TVs, I can't decide which free stuff I want more.
Righto.
I just want my rights back.
Yeah. Let's move on to another little issue which is pretty bloody serious, and that is SLH getting a special pull out this morning because SLH had an employee over in Western Australia, a Victorian employee, who was living away from home, working on a shutdown over in Western Australia, and that person died over there in the accommodation, the house provided by SLH, and the wife, with two small children, was told he had a heart attack. Subsequently was told he had died, and that was it. No funeral benefit, no insurances of any kind. This bloke is a Victorian who should have been under the Victorian EBA that SLH have. They are an EBA company, but over in Western Australia, no registration, no nothing. Now, there's something awful wrong there, and it took a lot of argument for people to actually pay for the body to be brought back and to pay for the funeral. But the wife and kids have been left high and dry. There is still no agreement by SLH to support the wife. They reckon, we gave $15,000 and that's enough. So well done, Frank. We appreciate there is some questions in relation to workers' comp and what the West Australian legislation provides. The union is providing legal advice, and our West Australian branch will be following up the workers' compensation issue because the bloke was working more than 12-hour shifts, and he was basically moving between accommodation provided by the company and the job, and whether it's a heart attack or it's some other reason, and there's lots of speculation, whatever the reason, surely the very minimum should have been Incolink, Cbus and so on, and there would have been at least some basic things in place which would have helped the widow and kids. Anyway, the union has taken up the matter, and between us and the West Australian branch, I'm sure we will get some justice for the family.
SLH, so same mob that's on the RIA job, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the mob, mate.
Who do a lot of work for Delta. Brothers down at Delta, Ziggy, Con, the boys, really. Question who you're employing as a subcontractor. Righto, we have got quite a few scallywags.
See, before we go on scallywags, can I just give a big shout out
Yep.
to the people campaigning out there to put the Liberals last? They're doing a fantastic job. That's one thing the Liberals' money can't buy. Genuine, dedicated people who actually care about the community, the state and the country.
Yeah, you bet. But you don't have height charts. That's why we're not going to win.
Oh,
it's
disaster. My kids were crying all last night. I get a height chart from school, 2 kids. They have them up on the walls. I come in and the Liberals, Chris Cruther's all over it. Ripped it down, threw it in the bin. The kids were crying all night. Disgraceful.
How low is that? Your marketing material, putting it into the schools, a height chart for the kids, and you put your name and your picture on there. I mean, get out of it. Just get out of it.
He quit. He copped a few emails last night, so he did, and he's sort of obviously trying to defend himself. Like them teachers down in Frankston, they're out campaigning outside his office every week about their rates of pay and obviously to get a living rate. And he has the cheek to go and give these teachers these height charts to hand out the kids. Know what I mean? Without any permission.
Yeah. No pay rise, just a picture of me. Just a picture of me on your height chart.
Instead of a pay raise, have a height chart.
Dog.
Well, that sounds like an early nomination for Scallywag.
That's all right. Section 40. What is it? What's the Section 42 or whatever it is? It's going to knock him out. I think he's gone anyway.
Yeah, he has an investment in a pharmaceutical company.
That's right.
Which has been receiving funding from the federal government. Know what I mean? How corrupt can you get?
Could be gone. Well, he's just asking a question.
Right.
Now, there's a scale of corruption that you could be involved in. Does the scale exist? We're not saying he's on it or where he is on it.
Righto. Let's move along to the rest of the scallywags. Now, we have got Hutchinson's out at Malvern. Worked the whole weekend. Cup weekend. Worked the whole Cup weekend.
Disgraceful.
Absolute disgrace. Did not pay, not only are in breach of the EBA, but didn't even pay the appropriate rates when you have got agreement to work. So, Hutchies, you have blotted the copybook big time.
Jeez, a few times. We've had a few mentions.
Oh, I think they're making a huge dash for the Scallywag of the Year, the way they're going.
I would be throwing in Kerry Civil. Kerry Civil, they've got an agreement, but they're running around telling the union that they can do whatever they want. They're doing labour hire. They're ripping their blokes off, so I would be nominating them.
Righto, so Kerry are down. Canes and Donga Plaster. Just a follow-up to that issue mentioned from Werribee. Not only was the bloke who was injured in the elevated work platform incident not entitled to work, in fact he had false ID. It turned out the false ID he had was also false. So,
not entitled to work no matter who he is.
Yeah, so
choose a personality.
He needs to get his false ID worked out, doesn't he?
So let's just say that Canes are seriously embarrassed, and I understand that Donga are in a deep, deep shit.
Yeah, I think Kane sort of knows about what's going on, though. They've just been caught with their pants down and they're putting their hands up.
Oh, yeah.
Righto, now moving right along, Steve Testerlin down at RIA.
That's correct.
Righto, Steve, you have been around a very long time. You know how it works, and you should be making it safe down there at that particular part of the project down on the domain. CYP for the shenanigans going on as they're trying to set up a precast facility out at Deer Park. Absolute disgrace. People being forced to work in the rain in unsafe conditions. John Holland's up at Benalla. Same story with the precast yard they're setting up there. SLH. They're making millions of dollars out of asbestos removal, and they can't even look after a employee who dies in circumstances which are still unexplained in Western Australia, and they can't even, when they stuff up their EBA, can't even pay the missus a little bit of money to keep her going because she's destitute. Righto. Vert Industries. Vert Industries. Hanging off a rope for Vert Industries, and you haven't even got your super in the bloody super account for 3 months. Dino.
Bit of a history there as well.
Bit of a history, Dino, and you can't blame your sister this time. Oh, My sister stuffed up the pace. Well, sorry, Dino, you stuffed up.
And before we get to the next one, Element 5, we haven't mentioned them for a while, but up in Brunswick Road, they got a new job, get the piles going in and they're digging. But they've got no traffic management once again. They got the pedestrian, the footpath blocked off, but no signage and nowhere for the pedestrians to go. And then once the job gets checked out, asbestos on the job that's not being managed. So Element 5 back to their old tricks again. And
indeed.
I would like to also throw in there part of the RIA job of Teslin again. WorkSafe. Apparently, allegedly, WorkSafe had went in there the day before the union and they were doing all their asbestos removal with dust going everywhere, nobody wearing PPE, and allegedly WorkSafe have given it the thumbs up.
WorkSafe get a nomination.
Righto. Now, next one, though it's not in our industry, I want to nominate the Australian Industry Group and one of their members, Marshall Lethlean, who were the subject of a report on the 7:30 report this week. A young apprentice, Dylan Wu, died on site, grinding out inside a tanker which is being constructed in the yard of Marshall Lethlean. They make tankers for the fuel, transport of fuel and so on. And the AIG had in fact been on site and done a health and safety assessment, pointed out dangers of confined space, and the apprentice has ended up being sent in there by himself, and he has died. An absolute disgrace.
Just 20 years old.
So a cheerio quickly to the Peacock family, who want to thank everyone who contributed to their issues, and a cheerio to El Chapo, who's obviously welcome in America, unlike the rest of the Mexicans. So we're going to go out.
No, we're going to winner. Where's the winner? Come on.
Oh, sorry, we haven't done the winner.
Well, we all know that I think we're going to put Hutchies up, even though, tell you what, that is a bad list. Like, the AIG, the whole lot. I mean, what a shocking list. But.
And I want to nominate Dino from Vert Industries for being a Suki Lala.
There you go.
Jesus, you know what to do, Dino.
Now we're going out.
Same old way, dare to struggle, dare to win. If you don't fight, you lose. Good morning from the Concrete Gang, and we did miss, because of Remembrance Day last week, we missed an appropriate track, and we're going to go out with the Pogues, and the band played Waltzing Matilda.
When I was a young man, I carried my pack, and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, 'cause there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they sent me away to the war.
You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.